The first phylum of fungi that I want to tell you about are the Chytridiomycota, with the common name of the chytrids. And you can be forgiven if you've never heard of chytrids before, because they're all microscopic and they're not very common or abundant. The Chytridiomycota is now considered to be a polyphyletic phylum. So the several lineages of what we've historically known as chytrids we know are not necessarily one monophyletic uh, phylum. So there's several basal lineages of fungi because they have a lot of characteristics that we identify with the ancestral forms of fungi. So like I said, they're microscopic. Their hyphae are cenocytic, so you can see some hyphae over in this image over here on the right, which are those kind of thread-like gooey gobs that are underneath those brownish sporangia, spore containers. But they don't have any walls between the nuclei, or they're irregularly spaced. Typically, they're found in aquatic habitats because they're good swimmers, and they're also very common in soil. And if you took a soil sample, you could bait out Chytridiomycota if you wanted to actually go looking for them. And they have flagellated zoospores. So that's what enables them to be aquatic and swim around. But this is an ancestral characteristic and one that identifies the fungi as being a sister group to animals, because we have a flagellated stage in our sperm, and the spores are very similar in how they have that one posterior flagellum. What else can I tell you about the chytrids? There's only about 1,000 species of them that are known, and they haven't been widely studied very much until recently. People who are experts on chytrids were very few and far between. And the reason that we've started studying them more intensely is not a really positive one. That's because of something called BD. And BD stands for Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis, which is a mouthful, so most people prefer just to call it BD, although its full scientific name is Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis. And BD is one of the very rare pathogenic forms of chytrids. It causes disease in amphibians like frogs and salamanders and newts, and populations globally have been declining because of this epidemic of this fungal disease. So here's a life cycle of BD. Not that we need to memorize everything that's going on here. I'm not going to expect you to know all that. Just to sort of show you what it looks like, how it does have these zoospores with flagella on them that will burrow into the skin of frogs and can cause them some real problems, namely it kills them. So next up, I'm going to show you a really short video showing how chytrid zoospores can swim. And then I've got just a brief video queued up of a scientist explaining his research with BD.